didn't change. We're changing the system. We can win. You know, it's amazing when some bully starts a fight with you and he's 1.5 feet taller than you and outweighs you by 100 pounds. But if you just start pounding him and open a can up and just turn it loose, you're going to be surprised when that guy falls over and, you know, hits his head on the concrete. Then your only problem is explaining to the police that he attacked you first, and thank God there's a witness. That's the same thing politically. You start swinging, folks, and turn it loose, you know you at least aren't going to die on your knees, and you're probably going to whoop them. It's the same thing politically in the peaceful info war. It doesn't mean we've beaten them. Doesn't mean that we're not in trouble. Let me be clear about that. Some are saying Alex is saying we won. We haven't won. Well, that's a straw man. I never said that. But what I said is we're in the fight, ladies and gentlemen, and they're scared. We're going to explain when we come back and go to your phone calls. Stay with us. Well, gold is up $20 right now. Power surging. That's $20 just in the last 2 hours. It was just up about 2 hours ago by $1. I went and looked it up, and it's $20 right now. Power surging is the word. Let me just hit refresh, see how much it's gone up. Just amazing information. The globalists will go in and try to push it down, but it's a losing battle, obviously. That's why I've got a mainstream news article here about them proposing a gold tax. That's the same thing as basically confiscation. The power to tax is the power to destroy. But what are you going to do, stay in paper that they can tax? There is no silver super magic bullet, but the best thing is gold and silver. That's why you got to get it now, bury it now, your golden eggs before the bankers steal everything, and they will take everything. People are like, well, what do I get that's perfectly safe? Nothing's perfectly safe. The Federal Trade Commission, the FCC, are all announcing that they're going to put taxes on all cell phones, all internet, all alternative news, radio, TV, all advertising, control everything you say. They're openly saying the end of free speech. Okay? I mean, it's really happening. They really took over health care. And they know they're going to phase it in over 4 years, so Obama says, see, everything's fine. Yeah, the whole economy's going to hell in a handbasket. Everything's fine. You wait till they implement it all. Cybersecurity's going in to be able to take over the entire web and shut it off in their own words. I can't believe they're this bold. We know what this is. It starts with a capital T. Tyranny, tyrannus, the tyrant. Well, I say death to the idea of tyranny. Death to the spirit of tyranny. Down with tyranny. The spirit of liberty is rising. So, of course, the Bilderberg Group is scared to death. Of course. I mean, remember, just 4 or 5 years ago, they were still making fun of you if you talked about the Bilderberg Group. National talk show hosts were going, can I have some cheese with my Bilderberger? I mean, I heard that joke for 15 years. Oh, they're not laughing anymore because we didn't care what the media said about us. We didn't care about the demonization. We didn't care about the propaganda. We didn't care about the New World Order calling us names. We just covered the facts and said these bankers are issuing derivatives. It's basically a counterfeit instrument. They're buying up the world with it. They're setting up a police state ahead of their implosion of the economy. They're going to put brain scanners and naked body scanners in. By the way, they're announcing naked body scanners and brain scanners to be on the street now. Oh, where'd Bob go? Oh, the brain scanner said he was a terrorist. No judge, no jury. Warrantless DNA checkpoints. They're going for broke because they don't have much time. And so to the police, the military, to all of you, you better decide what team you're on. You better decide whether you're going to stand with your family in the Republic or whether you're going to go with the New World Order, who is going to destroy you. At least your financial future is going to be destroyed, and probably your physical future. If you don't, wake up now and get angry. And the general public, you better stop thanking me for speaking out and standing up and being involved. I'm just trying to engage in self-preservation here. What else am I supposed to do? What was I supposed to do as a man who, by the age of 19, was pretty much fully awake of what was going on? I know I was supposed to be chasing skirts and drinking beer. Doesn't mean I didn't do some of that. But at the same time, I had studied history. I thought that's what a man was supposed to do. I was involved in history. I knew about what my family had done in history, and I knew the job I had to do. Okay? The media tells you you're supposed to be a sophomoric, arrested development idiot. Well, that's what slaves are into. Not me. Not me. I'm a wild man. I want freedom. And so you better look in the mirror, ladies and gentlemen. You better ask yourselves right now where you're going to be, what you're going to do in the future. Are you going to be an actor in history, actually having an effect? I don't mean an actor in Hollywood. I mean, a physical actor in the great stage that is life that Shakespeare talked about. Are you going to be someone who has a role in the future destiny of mankind? Or are you going to sit on the sidelines and do nothing and let a bunch of criminal globalists run over you and steal everything you got? Because history has proven 100% of the time, when you lay down and aren't involved in society, and when you are a foolish buffoon who knows all about the latest fashions and how to act cool and how to be trendy, fashion and trendiness is the mark of slaves. 3,000 years ago, they introduced fashions in China to enslave the population. They wrote history books about it 3,000 years ago in Persia, in China, in India, how to enslave people. Okay? All right, we're going to come back, hit more news, go to your phone calls, but a lot is going on, a lot is happening. In fact, your calls are straight ahead.
We're on the...
Yeah, these corrupt globalists can run on for a long time,
You can run on for
But the minute you get a fighting spirit, the minute you start spreading that mindset, that idea, that infectious virus of liberty, the enemy will start imploding. It is a spirit. It's an attitude. It's a mindset. You got to break your conditioning. You've got to break the spell you're under. I'm going to go to your calls and back into all the news, or I'll never get to your calls if I continue with the news. But I wanted to just make a point. I was listening to an ad that I cut for solar power generators during the break. And I have a line in there about there's legislation all over the country with smart meters in your home and business where the government controls your thermostats. And it just hit me again that I remember a decade ago they were proposing it in California. I read the government and MIT and other reports. They said we're going to control everybody's house. We're going to have smart refrigerators that track everything that's in your refrigerator. Then CPS will be called if your children aren't eating healthy. Elder care will be called on old people to take them basically to be euthanized. It described to government care, but they're phasing in the euthanasia. Europe already has it. And we're going to remote control people's thermostats. And we're not going to let people have it set at 75, 76. We'll get people trained incrementally to just basically not even have air conditioner. We'll get them, up to 85 or so degrees in the house. For the earth, of course. And now I read articles every week or two without looking of new retirement homes all over the country where they get government grants if they're, quote, smart houses, where there's sensors in the refrigerators tracking everything the old people do. They have elder care popping by as if it's a service. Everyone in Head Start gets CPS visits 3 times a year. That's what the feds have announced is the mandate. You haven't gotten the knock on the door, they're coming. We're now going to have yearly census with them demanding stuff at your door. I was at the lake fishing on the end of a pier 2 weeks ago, and a census worker came out, and I said, I don't live here. I'm fishing. And the guy started asking my name, and I said, look, I'm not answering your question. Get thee gone, government person. I'm not here to be lined up and asked questions by you, the secret police. And I've got the government reports 20 years ago how they plan to have us doing weekly census. And they're going to have an environmental chief on every block that comes in and inspects your house. This is all slave training. What do you think it is when they take your baby's blood at birth for 37 years and put it in the Pentagon database? And now they admit it to you. See, they think you're slaves now. They think you're broke back. Now, I'd tell you about it 15 years ago, you'd laugh. The government would never do that. Now they just admit it, and you go, oh, well, I guess it's good. Oh, they're going to put you through naked body scanners and admit they're recording you and your family's genitals and laughing at it. It's so bad they laugh at their own employees' genitals that have to go through it every day until they beat each other up. And they print out Hollywood people's genitals and say, sign this for me. And it comes out in the news, and Homeland Security reports admit they're recording your genitals. We're going to record your genitals, and we're going to do it because we like it. And now I have mainstream news about brain scanners in the airports. Hundreds of thousands of innocent people were sent to prison for brain scanners. Hundreds of thousands of people were sent to prison for lie detectors, made up quack machines, and they sent them to prison. They sent them to death row. Turns out it's totally made up and fake, basically.